What's up, YouTube? Today we've got a French knife. This knife does have a little bit of gapping going on. The French knives, they're not so concerned about totally flush everything. But they are good at working with horn, and they also don't mind going the extra mile for just tradition's sake, which is kind of why I like them. Because I didn't even know this, but nearly every single one of these rivets goes through all the way. That one does. Oh man, maybe. No, I think that one. Oops, is it? Anyway, these do for sure. This one looks like it doesn't actually line up with. No, it does. So the top one goes through, and then that actually is through the spring. That one, yeah, you can see. This one is just for show. That one goes through and all the way through. And I don't know if that's because like for Barlow's, the top third traditionally is the bolster. Back in the day, the materials they were working with weren't that great, so they had to overcome it in particular ways through design and stuff. This is a Basque by 12C27 Sabot, and that is their little swirly thing. I don't know what that is actually. Looks neat though. This is 12C27 Sandvik, so it's a fine-grained stainless steel. This knife is interesting in the action because it kind of pulls out and then locks for a second, and then you get this snap, and then it goes back into this position, kind of slides, right? And then you get this pretty good snap. And I think this will get smoother with time. It's actually not that bad at all. I'm just trying to do it slow for the camera. This is a very cool knife, at least I think so. And I think it is because of the design. And not only does it have all these cool rivets that go through, the way that this fits in your hand, this is like what happens when tried and true designs are carried on. Because this thing, the reach that it has, yeah, if I was holding it like this, I mean, it wouldn't be that much. I mean, it's a big knife, but with your hand kind of gravitates back. Let's take some measurements. So we got like a 3 3/4, a little bit more than that, cutting it thing, and then we've got 5 inches there. I don't really worry about getting in trouble for the knife that I have in my pocket. I feel like I don't think that a cop, at least around here, and I think in general, are not really that worried about. Like that, from my understanding, in most places, even like Chicago, if you were to have an illegal knife, that is a charge that is added on to, like, you assault someone, you rob a store. In Denver, you can stab each other nearly to death. And if it's mutual combat, no one is going to go to jail, and there's a good chance that charges are going to get dropped. Nothing's going to happen. So that's crazy, right? But that has happened several times here. And it's usually a pretty grisly thing that happens. But yeah, this thing just seems so formidable because this part of it in your hand, it's just a substantial purchase. Like I have total control of this with that. It's just very cool. And I like that they went the extra mile there. I think a lot of knife makers these days act like any extra effort is just like totally irrational, except for maybe GEC and a few others. And to me, that's silly because if I'm going to collect knives, they need to be at least somewhat compelling. This knife is not perfect, but I find it very compelling. And the only thing that's really maybe what my tastes of American knives has made me not like the gaps. But I honestly don't mind them much for, really at all, for French knives, because they're like just totally a different thing. And if you like read the verbiage from Thayer's, they are not trying to compete basically with anybody. They have no, you know, they've been in the game so long, they're just like, don't even, this is not a competition, at least not for us. Is GEC better fit and finish? Yeah, I would say probably. But this was like $70 from Knives of France, by the way. And I can also replace this. GEC knives right now are ranging from like $1.20 to all the way up to like $1.80 from distributors. So the secondary market is bananas. These are reasonable, and this knife will last you your entire life. This is a serious knife. The tip isn't super fine. It kind of reminds me of the tip on the gun stock from a couple days ago, except that one was that there was a lot more material behind that, because I think someone did end up snubbing that on accident. This one is not. It's just the style where it's not fine, meaning you're going to be able to bear down and not really have to worry too much about if this gets embedded a little bit too much into something and you don't pull it smooth, or, you know, accidents happen. People aren't perfect, and people make mistakes handling knives. This is a great piece. Oh, P.S. I like the file work. This is a great piece. If you get a chance, pick it up. Knives of France, obviously, you can go there. They have some. But I'm just saying, if you were to see it floating around on eBay, because French knives do float around on eBay, I would keep an eye out, maybe snatch it up. And one thing about horn, the buttery translucence, so to speak. That's all she wrote for this one, folks. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Bye now.